Welcome everyone, Simon here from the Whales of Wall Street. We have a Kaspa video for you guys today, KAS on the exchange. Haven't covered this project for around 6 months. I did look back at the video that I did back then, and the price hasn't moved too much in that sense. It did have a all-time high since then, actually, to be fair, around August time. We'll go into a bit more chart details shortly. But I'm doing this video really just to have a bit of a catch up on Kaspa, why I'm still interested, why I am accumulating, albeit very slowly, on this one. I think there's a bit of time still, but we'll go into a bit more detail as to why I'm not going too crazy on this particular token right now. Loads of different variables for that reasoning, of course. So before we go into more detail of that, please do not forget, of course, to check out the other videos on the channel. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Please do hit the like button as well. Helps the algorithm kick out the videos to more and more people, get more and more added to the Whales community. Absolutely fantastic. So appreciate you coming in on this video today. A bit of a quick recap on Kaspa. Predominantly, I love this word, blockDAG, DAG in general, in the crypto sphere. This relates to direct acyclic graph. I've mentioned this in a multitude of videos, particularly with IOTA. It's one of the key principles of the DAG protocol that they use, or they call theirs Tangle, actually. And Constellation is another really key DAG project. And also Hedera. I mean, there's a few others out there as well, but many of you know probably Hedera Hashgraph. I'm sure it's in many of your portfolios. It's only a project that I hold very well in mine. But yes, Kaspa, big proof of work blockchain. So this very much stands out really because of the ability of its high scalability in the networks. Why is that important? Well, we talked about this in the DAG protocols previously. When we're talking about a multitude of transactions going on simultaneously every second, a lot of networks boast, thousands or hundreds of thousands of transactions per second, but we've also got to accommodate in this theory or this process in our minds that it's not just financial transactions. We're talking about any transfer of an action. It could be using biometrics to get into a driverless car. It could be drones harvesting and seeding in the agricultural land, delivering produce. All of these things equates to a transaction. So scalability is really important when we have more and more people using the network, or in this instance, ideally at the end user's capacity would be maybe a commercial entity, a business, or businesses worldwide. So you can see the magnitude of how this can grow quite quickly. So direct acyclic graph, or the DAG aspect, really helps take that sort of traditional blockchain method and create it more in a linear approach, a more scattered approach, really, because it's not just blockchains one after the other in that chain format. It can also divert itself to other areas as quickly as it needs to. Maybe where there's a problem along the protocol, the network down the line, or an internet device not talking to the other, it can divert itself around. It can enhance the application of reduction in transaction fees, and it can increase those transaction numbers as well. So it's really interesting to see that. One thing I would say about Kaspa though, guys, is in the instance that we haven't got too many case studies when it comes to Kaspa in the real world. So that's kind of lining up with one of my reasonings earlier as to why I'm not going super mad on this. I see the potential, I see the opportunity, but when we go into the market shortly, we'll see not only is there not a giant demand for this token yet, which can make the argument that we should maybe be buying in this area, who knows, but that principle for me is like, well, you can mention the word partnerships, this, that and the other, but I want to see utility. Hedera is a fantastic project, for example. It boasts partnerships, but more importantly for me, it boasts real world utilization. I know the team very well there as well, which kind of helps, but it's that principle. So we got an opportunity here. Similar with IOTA, but IOTA has a massive project going on right now with the European Union's blockchain initiative, which we've covered on multitude of times in those videos. But we are seeing some really, really significant developments in some of those projects. Kaspa is defining itself more and more as time goes by. I'm particularly interested in its what they call the blockDAG protocol. This is very much this is a funny abbreviation. So blockDAG, greedy, heaviest, observed, subtree, directed acyclic graph. Crazy, right? But essentially this is a consensus protocol, so it's used in the Kaspa blockchain right now, or in its network facility. Again, mentioning earlier about that high speed mentality, creating that parallel block creation aspect as well, which is where I kind of mentioned earlier about the splitting, or the ability for it to be a lot more flexible. So it forms this, instead of a singular chain, it can essentially create these structures elsewhere. So I would argue really that it's kind of their word of tangle with IOTA, perhaps. But yes, of course, it has a big aspect of the proof of work mechanism, which we know obviously Bitcoin uses. Sorry, get my words out in a minute. But it is ensuring essentially at this moment in time that the network remains secure and decentralized. So there's a lot of projects out there that deem themselves decentralized format, but actually they're very much centralized. So it's nice to see some more projects still out there that are focusing on this aspect of blockchain, in my opinion anyway. So for me, it's that innovative aspect or opportunity that blockDAG, or in this instance the blockDAG of Kaspa, that can provide. I like that decentralization aspect. I like the fact that proof of work, yes, albeit it has a load of cons, there are some pros for sure, but it keeps that security level a lot higher in my opinion. The scalability, most networks kind of tick that box, to be honest, so I'm not going to focus too much on that area of Kaspa, because it's a narrative that's around in the ecosystems over and over, right? I would say the community is building. I don't really focus too much on that these days with the principle of why I should buy a token or not. As I said, I'm more interested in real world ability and utility. I'm not a huge meme coin fan, as you know. Yes, I know you can make a lot of money in there, but that's just not my thing. I'm interested in the future. I'm interested in stabilizing my portfolio right now in projects that I think that could do well in this area, and I think Kaspa is one of those, and that's why I had added it to my portfolio, albeit probably later than most. But I do see the principle, the opportunity there for sure, as we look into the development of Kaspa as a technology, but also its potential in the charts as well from that price perspective. So I'll leave a link to this particular article. It's really cool actually, from CoinCub. It really massively breaks down a nice little diagram, actually probably represents it a bit better than how I've been speaking about over the years. But full detailed, absolutely fantastic, bit of interesting information about trends and pricing, etc. But it's these kind of things that are stand out for me in terms of building that knowledge and why we're doing this. So the other aspect of why I'm not going too mad is because I think there's huge narratives at the moment in the meme coins and the AI coins particularly. I think there's a lot of distraction in those areas. So I'm not anticipating, probably eat my words one day, I'm not anticipating Kaspa or many other assets at this moment in time to be going on parabolic runs, purely from the fact that money is transferred into those particular categories in the crypto sphere. So I think I've got a bit more time with Kaspa, and I'm happy really to be buying Kaspa up to the sort of 20 cent mark for the long term. But you can see here, the reason I'm showing this one as well as in a minute the trade view is because this has historic data all the way back to 2022 when it launched. You see these great prices under 1 cent, and even up to sort of I would say the latter stages of 2023 getting up to 5 cents. Absolute bargain there. And you see the opportunities have risen almost as high as about sort of 20 odd cents. They've had a lot of corrections in this similar area that we are at now. So that is a great opportunity for us to switch across to the trading view chart. So we can look at a bit more detail in the more apparent and more observable data that we've got in this particular one here. So as I said, it unfortunately doesn't go fully. Oh, actually, this one does. I think I updated it in the last video. So that's quite good to see that development. But my interest right now with Kaspa is always around this sort of 10 to 15 cent mark. As I said, we've had some upward trends in the last sort of year with Kaspa. August the 1st, I think, was their all-time high, actually. We've had a great correction all the way down to 9 cents. That's where I picked up some more Kaspa. I've literally not sold any, purely because I think I'm really waiting for those higher numbers. And in my opinion, I don't really do massive predictions, but based on the fib levels, if I was to sort of hedge bets, there's not financial advice, but my principles of where I will probably be selling my first batch of KAS is around this sort of 33 to 43 cent mark. In fact, using these markers, we'll just make sure that those stay in the next video. So this is one from the last time. This is taking up one of the lowest positions and one of the highest points at that moment in time, and it gives you a bit of a traction field here. I'm not anticipating at the moment anything towards 70 cents. I think that might be in the next cycle, but it really does come down to Kaspa with its innovation and its utility coming into the real world. If that happens, I could see Kaspa getting towards that 70, 80, maybe beyond the dollar, who knows. But conservatively, if we're suggesting that maybe they don't do anything this year and we just go on pure organic speculation, general income of people coming in, where they're watching YouTube videos like this one, but yeah, there's a lot better videos out there, guys. If you want proper technical analysis, I do the very basics here, despite the diploma in cryptography and actual trading. It's something where I think it's interesting, more so for me, to hear about the educational piece of the token and the knowledge of the markets in general. That's more appealing to me. So yes, go and check out those videos of other channels for sure, because they may come up with some maybe crazy numbers. They may be coming up with some more conservative ones like I do around this mark. So for me personally, I'm looking at around about this sort of 30 to 33 cent mark for my first sell-off position, and I am currently buying at these relative positions here, as I said earlier in the video, around this sort of 10 to 12 cent mark. See on the performance indicators on the right hand side here, this again sort of emphasizing my point that I think we've got a bit more time to accumulate. Famous last words, as I said, but I think this is a great area. It's a great area of resistance on the way down. It's very historic, but there will come a time where this sort of thins itself out and it starts becoming maybe a resistance level or higher one. So maybe at 14 cents, where we can see some lots of drop downs. There's some significant activity around that area as well, and of course the resistance level of around 20. But each of these markers, guys, not fully accurate, but you can see most of them align actually when I've put this new one in here on the right hand side. Some of these do align on the longer terms, so we could argue that we'll probably see some resistance at 24, probably see some around that 33, 34 cent mark, typically just over that 30 cent marker as a rounded number. And as you get to these higher numbers, there's obviously a lot more money needs to come in for these numbers to go parabolic. But we've seen it in so many assets. People say, well, if it happens in meme coins, why can't it happen here? Well, it's just the narrative, it's the marketing. But in these principles of these kind of, I guess, legacy projects, like ones that have actual utility, it does take a bit longer. And I do think the money will switch around eventually in the coming months, particularly with the inauguration of President Trump in April. I think there'll be a lot of activity around there. We know about the activity of the RTGS system in November, the new financial system going live. So I think 2025 is going to be huge. And I do think that money will loop back around from AI projects and meme projects. When people realize they're not, half of them don't do anything, that money will switch back into these bigger projects, in my opinion. But I'm not putting Kaspa in a huge project level right now because of that lack of adoption, that lack of utility. I think it will come, but that's why I'm playing my cards close on this one. I think we need to see a lot more if we're going to see those bigger numbers. So that's my thoughts and opinions on Kaspa. That's where I think we could get to as a bare minimum based on organic. If we can get that marketing, we get those adoption levels in, we could see those higher levels of around 78 cents. As I said, go check out some other videos as well. It's always good to get research from other areas. I tried to do my best with the educational side of the projects or the companies themselves, intertwining with what I think could be the perceptions here in the markets moving forward. But let me know what you think in the comments below about Kaspa. Your price predictions as well, of course, are always welcomed. But we must always keep an eye on this. As I said in my last video, have it on your radar at least, because I think this has great opportunity if it all aligns. Thanks for watching, guys. We will see you in the next Kaspa video update. Bye bye.